It's Friday night, so you know things are about to get freaky. Welcome to The Freak Show. Here are your hosts, JustinFREAKIN and a very special friend of Freakin.
Welcome to the Friday Night Freak Show. Are you ready for some cash, some coffee, and some chaos? Tonight's special guest co-host, Chainsaw. Welcome, my friend.
What up? Good to see you, buddy.
Good to have you on stream. This is long overdue. How are you?
Not bad, not bad. This is a first for me. Doing it like this, getting it all set up like this. I'm still in the midst of arranging all of my things here, so I appreciate you bearing with me here.
Probably went a lot smoother than I thought it would, to be honest with you.
True, very true.
Even with my technical limitations with this shitty ass board I'm using over here, we're good to go. Everything's working out well. I love that drawing over your shoulder. But before we get to that, tell the people who you are. Do your plugs.
Hey, what up? This is your boy Chainsaw. I'm a political streamer. I talk about politics. We talk about sociological issues. You may see me doing a lot of shit posting online regarding politics, feminism. I consider myself a liberal feminist. I took the test, and it turned out I'm a libertarian socialist, so that's a lot of fun. Started out as a sock dem, and we've just kind of gone through the roof since then.
See, that's the thing is, like, according to the political compass, I'm like a libertarian leftist, but we don't call ourselves libertarians. Libertarians are like the asshole right-wingers that think the government can't do anything and always want to talk about the age of consent.
True. For the most part, from my understanding, and I could be wrong on this, but from my understanding, I believe that a libertarian actually comes from classical liberalism to some degree. And so that, I guess, is where, if you would consider yourself a libertarian leftist or a libertarian socialist or whatever, that originates more from classical liberalism.
The father
it's not something I've read up on too much.
The father of modern libertarian thought is actually Robert Nozick. And he has what he calls, this is his own critique of libertarianism, the problem of initial just acquisition. See, no contract. And like, shit, this isn't the political show. Why'd you get me on this?
Why'd you invite me?
So you could take a break from politics and talk about stupid shit.
True. This is how we do.
I wanted to bring you on here. I do have. We'll get your feminist take on a couple of things. Like, there was a woman who apparently ordered a bunch of food at a restaurant, oysters to be exact, and her date got really pissed. So I'm gonna be interested to see what you have to say about that story. We've got some wild video from the happiest place on earth where people weren't too fucking happy.
Ooh.
We've got a couple of spooky stories for tonight because, of course, it's spooky season. A town is asking for a house to take down their provocative Halloween decorations. All that and a lot freaking more tonight on the Friday Night Freak Show, where we just talk about bullshit and everything. But I want to know.
I feel like I should probably cut my lights to kind of match your mood here. Let's
You get in the mood, man. Get in the mood. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Got that bisexual lighting going on.
True.
Be doing over here. There was a guy when we were doing the house stream earlier today. A guy came in and started talking about how my bandana made me look like somebody who wanted to get pegged. I fucking tore my new ass like, fucking, if you like getting pegged, get pegged.
I dig the aesthetic, to be honest. I was debating on whether or not I should wear one. Here lately, I've been doing streams with my hair down, but I figured, after watching, I think it was you streaming a couple of nights ago, you were talking about, why did you people let me shave my head? What? By the election season, I want to have at least my hair be close to shoulder length, and I thought, hey, should could this be a thing? Like, maybe we all shave our heads. You never know.
Well, I mean, like, I had been saying it for probably a year or more that whenever Donald Trump got arrested, I'd shave my head. So that was like a thing I was throwing out there. In a way, I kind of didn't think it was going to happen. But once we got to the Mar-a-Lago raid, like August of last year, I'm like, holy fuck, I'm actually going to have to shave my head. It's sure enough, I had to live up to it. And when he was arraigned in New York, and that was that's the Stormy Daniels payment, right? That was the first indictment, criminal indictment against him. That's when I shaved my head. It was end of March, beginning of April or something like that. But now I go back, and when I see old video of myself with hair, I'm like, God damn, I look so much better with hair.
I remember
even though I
when
don't
you
have
did
a
it,
lot
I
of
just
it
don't
up
remember
here.
why.
Even though there's not a lot of it up here. Anyway, here's what I want to do first off the bat. I want to talk about the origin of first the name. Cash, Coffee, and Chaos. What a name for a show.
So the name had actually started, it was originally not a news show. It was more of a, let's say a finance, that was back in my Stonk Boy days,
And Stonk Boy days.
Yeah. I started out doing Forex, binary options, and then in 2020 I got big into investing. We had plenty of time.
Oh, you went to the
not a whole lot to
moon.
do. I did. It was all rocket ships.
And Holder or Hold'em or what? I have no fucking idea. Numbers confuse me, but I know the internet memes. I know stonks and shit like that. To the moon.
Yeah, it was all about the hodl.
Hodl, that was it. Thank you. Were you one of the people that helped kick GameStop in the balls?
Actually, I got in on some of that. I started investing in GameStop with the big rise, and it was actually through whoa, a little feedback there. It was actually through the aftermath. So what had happened was there's a phenomenon that's referred to as Robinhood Gate, right? Everything's got a gate these days.
Is that referring to the app Robinhood?
Yes.
So what they were doing is they were like getting all these little investors, and they were selling that data back to big investors, so the big investors could actually they knew what all the little guys were doing, and they could fuck them over, right?
Well, that's kind of sort of how the game works. But the real tipping point for me, and what I'd seen that kind of threw me away from toward the game is rigged, is that in the midst of all of that hodling and pushing the Robinhood stock, right? So this actually happened on a weekend. I want to say like a Thursday or a Friday. It might have just been the Friday. Basically, they were stopping. Robinhood was no longer allowing for folks to sell. No, they were no longer. Jesus Christ, this has been a couple of years ago, so you got to forgive me.
I'm sorry.
I believe they were no longer allowing folks to purchase stocks through Robinhood. They could only. That's what it was. They could only close their positions, right? So if you had GameStop or AMC, and I think there was another one that was big at that time that was sort of in that scene, right? If you wanted to continue to take positions, basically all day Friday, right? I want to say it started at like 9 or 10 a.m. Eastern time. They no longer were allowed to make any more purchases on GameStop. No longer allowed to take any more positions on AMC. You could only close positions, so no more opens. And this caused a massive flood online. People were freaking the fuck out because they were, day traders, scalpers. So scalpers are people who will make a trade and then close the position within just a short time. Whereas your swing traders,
that's called shorting, right?
No, that's called scalping. Where you'll an investor, of course, is somebody who invests in a hell is that? An investor, of course, is someone who will take a position and then hold the position for an indefinite amount of time, and then they close their position to make a profit, right? So let's say you hold it for a few months, you hold it for a few years, maybe a decade even. You close your position, you take your profits, and you go. So a day trader is someone who will take a position, hold it for a couple of days, typically more a period of more than 3 days, maybe a week, and then close the position, take their profits, and go home. A scalper is just real quick in outs. So you can actually take a position and close it within a matter of seconds. And you know, that wild greedy addictive shit is something that I did somewhat get into, given the options at the time.
I've got addictive personality as well. I can get hooked on shit.
But that was the problem, was that people were no longer allowed to close their position. So you could take the position, you could open a position, and then you could no longer close it. So once the price started going down, people started losing money, people started freaking out and closing, and then trying to, buy low, hoping that they could sell high, but they couldn't buy anymore. And that lasted the entire trading day. People were losing their shit. I wasn't really on Twitter at the time, but I guess that was a shitstorm. I did see it all over. I think Facebook was the only social media I was using at that point. Obviously, it made national news. I want to say about 1 o'clock, 2 p.m. So after the lunch, Robinhood had came back and said, "Hey, wait, it's not us. We are not the ones who are." It's the holding company. It's the company that allows for the transactions to take place behind the scenes, right? They're not allowing our customers to open any more positions, to buy any more of these particular stocks. We don't know why. Well, it turns out I also was using Webull. And I think M1 Finance at that time, who also have the same holding company, whose name escapes me, because again, this is a few years ago. They had the same holding company as Robinhood, and they were coming back with, "Hey, no, bro, we've been opening positions, we've been buying, we've been selling all day. This is not a thing." The holding company came forward, I think, on Twitter, and was like, "No, bro, it's not us." They opened an investigation on this, and I want to say that might have been part of the same class action lawsuit that you were talking about with Robinhood that came about later. I remember Elizabeth Warren. Is
Robinhood even a thing anymore? Like, I don't hear about them.
Couldn't tell you. I'm sure it's not as popular as it was at the time, though.
Well, this seems like something that would put them out of business. Now let's back up. Traditionally, what investing is supposed to be is like you or I, as a regular citizen, we invest in fucking company A down the road, and we want to put our money in there and hope that they grow over the course of 5, 6, 7 years, and we make a little money from that. But it's turned into this, scam almost. It's all these financial gurus trying to bet on the system and fuck normal people over in order to try to cash out and make money. And it's indicative of what is wrong with capitalism, correct?
Right. And don't get me wrong. That's why I say what it was that I was doing as far as scalping.
I'm not blaming you. I'm not saying like, chainsaw, you were the problem.
You're not wrong, though. You're not entirely wrong, though. That is a major problem. Scalpers specifically, and people who aren't. I mean, if you're going to invest in a company, even let's take let's act in support of capitalism for just a moment. As you said, you invest in a company, right? But you invest in a company that you believe in, and for the hope of the growth of the company or the growth of a product or whatever. But in actuality, you end up with people who are, as I say, doing like what I was doing, where you're basically manipulating the system to make a quick buck with no concern or no. Honestly, it doesn't even take any sort of know-how or financial knowledge on the company or the product or the industry itself. You literally just watch the spiky cursor go up, spiky cursor go down.
Well, I mean, you brought up GameStop and AMC specifically, and we're talking about during the pandemic. Those were two stores that depended on not stores. One is a store, one is a theater. They depend on foot traffic in order to make money. So they are actually getting walloped because of COVID, and then underhanded investors are trying to drive the price up. I'm sorry, Liberty, it is serious shit tonight. Usually it's bullshit. I'm sorry, but I want to pick Chainsaw's brain. This is awesome. But they were taking advantage of the situation because it was a perfect storm that AMC and GameStop both struggling. GameStop was already struggling. AMC already struggling as well. But COVID really kicked that into high gear. Correct?
Oh, for sure. Well, you had a lot of people who were, home, who had the option to, a lot of folks were either collecting PPP money, who own their own business, who now aren't able to function their business as much as they were. You had people who were collecting unemployment, who were starting their first Robinhood accounts or going back to it. The amount of investors had gone through the roof at that time. So you had a lot of new money flooding into the system, and it was not so great because you had people who were trying to make a quick buck, and a lot of folks lost a lot of cash.
Oh God, I just realized your audience heard me belch, didn't they?
True.
I warned him. I was like, I will mute my mic and cough a lot. And I forgot, you're streaming over there. You got my raw audio.
It's all good. I actually had to so I had to reload my stream bot a couple of times, and congratulations, buddy, on your return to Twitch. Good thing we nuke those VODs as soon as they close.
I want to point out, if you see a man by the name of Mr. Justin Muffins, you don't know him.
I never heard of him.
Never heard of him.
That sounds wild. He sounds like Treble.
Okay, anyway, we got off on finance, but you were telling the backstory of your show, how Cash, Coffee, and Chaos came to be.
Right. So I started out in stocks. That actually, it was the Robinhood gate that really screwed me up, because I was reading more about it and finding out more about how the game is rigged. I mean, if you can't even trust your you take your unemployment money that you've worked and whatever for, and then figured out a way to acquire those funds, because they did not make it easy. I live in a red state, and I know that a lot of folks I hear that a lot of folks also do, and they did not make it easy. The state that I live in actually was the first state to cut unemployment for recipients, I want to say like 5 months earlier than any other state. Unironically, I know people who left the state who lived in bluer states who continue to draw those funds. So fuck you, Mike Parson, and your bullshit. It's a lot of fun, but yeah, people doing what they can to get to where they can, and then are okay. So I open up a Robinhood account. Okay, well, this thing is kind of fashionable. Maybe I want to buy some stocks in AT&T or Tesla. That was a huge one there for a while it was going through the roof. You basically could throw a fucking dart at a wall and make money in 2020, right? And then to see people who honestly tried to believe in the system and tried to believe in capitalism and whatever. I was a sock dem at the time, and this is really what broke me.
This is what radicalized you.
Pretty much. This and one other event, but yeah, that was the thing that made me think, okay, well, wait a minute, and then to watch Congress talk a lot about it, and then we're not doing much. So it pretty much steered me away from capitalism in general, and from that point I started covering the news around that, and then it just sort of spiraled out of control. We went from viewing stocks at 4 a.m. to now we're talking at the 6 o'clock news at 7 p.m. So, and obviously other issues that I found important. Started out as a news show, just doing segments. I actually started streaming, and I was thinking about this the other day. I think you were one of the very first Twitch streamers that I ever actually saw and watched. Yeah, you didn't know that. Yeah.
Really? Awesome. Well, I'm glad that I could be your gateway into the Twitch.
Pretty much. I mean, don't get me wrong. I had a Twitch account. I tried it one day when but it wasn't for me, right? Started watching your show, and I'm like, okay, well, this is, there's somebody else out there who's talking about the news, who's talking about social issues and whatnot. I don't really get what it is that he's doing, because I record like a 10-minute piece and I upload it on YouTube, and then I hope and pray that somebody watches it. But you show up and you're like there for like a few hours talking about things, and people just kind of come to this, and I'm like, the fuck is going on here? This is really unique. This is interesting. And from there it just I decided, hey, that maybe this is the way. And
well,
so
I have to give my props to producer Dave. Producer Dave and I came up together trolling in like Facebook groups, trolling Christians and shit back in 2010, 2011, 2012. Sometime around that time period is when producer Dave and I met up. He was doing internet radio at the time.
It's like a long time ago, buddy.
Yeah, I'm telling you. So he starts streaming, I think around 2015, 2016 time. And he's like, hey, man, you got to come over here. You got to start streaming. And he was on to me for years. But I've told this on the stream. So, like, I have a degree in broadcasting. I got my first job in the radio when I was 16, back in 2000. I've only ever had a job doing like radio, photography, TV. I've done some movie work. It's all I've ever done in my life. So I thought I was too good for streaming. I thought I was too good. I thought I was above it, that I'm a real broadcaster, and that going on stream would actually be bad for my career. And holy shit, was I stupid, because if I had started streaming back in like 2012, 2013, I would have been Tim Pool instead of Tim Pool.
Right. No, I hear you there. Honestly, I think at that time, specifically everybody who's like in our age bracket looks at that, like the first moment we think, man, that would be pretty cool to like make content on YouTube. I saw David Pakman and I thought, man, that'd be pretty neat. Do some kind of news radio type of thing, or like any kind of radio thing. Even just like playing say doom metal and stoner rock. Doing segments in between and then just uploading that and being like, hey, here it is, check it out. Looking back and being like, well, shit.
Doom metal and stoner rock, is that what you're into?
I listened. I like to think I listened to a wide variety of music, but at that time I was heavy into it. I'm also a musician.
What do you play?
A little bit of everything. The worst drummer ever, but I can keep a beat. I started out playing bass guitar when I was like 15. I, of course, play guitar, and I write. Let's say chiptune, but more like house influenced or chiptune influenced house.
Did you play around with like the Fruity Loops back in the day?
I did not. I had a Cakewalk Kinetic 2. That was how I got started in electronic music.
Interesting. I've never even heard of that program.
Cakewalk was Cakewalk was the company. Released a product called Kinetic. It was basically, I think it was originally for chiptune. Epic Prawn, you may correct me on that. But then it's they started using it for like a wider range of music production, whatever. They came out with Kinetic 2, and I used it more for like mixing. So we would take like raw studio tracks of like guitar, drums, bass, vocals, whatever, and then use that as like the mix board, because they fit into the budget. But then now I've since discovered that Cakewalk, the company, went down. I want to say BandLab picked it up, and so now they released the product Sonar, but they relabeled it as Cakewalk by BandLab. And it's
I was going to say Adobe probably bought them, because Adobe bought everything.
True.
Now that I found out that you are into music, that's a good segue into our very first story that we're going to do tonight. Are you ready for this one?
Let's go.
15 rock songs that are actually really creepy. I want your opinion on this. Let's dissect this and see if we find that these rock songs are actually really creepy.
Ooh.
This was published by Loudwire a few days ago. The first one is Beatles Run for Your Life. Are you familiar with Beatles Run for Your Life? I don't think I've heard this one.
Yeah, I don't know that I am, actually.
This is a deep cut. Apparently, the early Beatles set the standard for guitar-based pop rock, but not everything was bubblegum, like I Want to Hold Your Hand or Love Me Do. That's not my favorite Beatles. I do not like early Beatles. What about you?
Um, you know, like that's more like my mom's kind of thing. Now I say that. Meanwhile, I'm over here listening to No Milk Today by Herman's Hermits, and she's like, "That's cringe, bro. Stop it."
Yeah, the
So,
White
yeah.
Album, Sgt. Pepper, shit past that. That's when the Beatles became really good. But apparently this is Run for Your Life off of Rubber Soul. The voice in Run for Your Life is that of a man who'll kill his significant other if he finds she's been with someone else. Now, knowing what I know about John Lennon and how abusive that motherfucker was, that makes total sense.
Jesus, I was not actually aware of that.
The unforgettable line, "I'd rather see you dead, little girl, than to be with another man." Apparently lifted from Elvis Presley, who also was a piece of shit.
Wow, that feels problematic.
I'm not familiar with Danzig. I'm not a big Danzig fan. I listen to the greatest hits because Curiouser is a real big fan of Danzig. So I listened to the greatest hits, and I'm like telling her the songs that I liked, and she's like, "Oh, you like whatever the other dude's name is, and not what's his name? I'm the Misfits. Glenn Danzig is the guy. I listened to the Misfits' greatest hits, and I apparently like the other guy a lot better than Glenn Danzig.
The only Danzig I've listened to, I actually had it.
Mother!
You're right. Thrall Demon Sweat Live, and it's got, I think, the live version and the studio version of Mother on it. There's two other tracks, but yeah, I don't remember what they were called. I just remember thinking, oh, well, this is neat. But yeah, I haven't in depth listened to Danzig.
Killer Wolf is apparently prime Danzig. It's a shuffling sinus. What? Sinuous? Sinuous. I'm gonna have to look that one up. I pride myself on when we're reading stories and I don't know a word, I look it up. Sinuous, having many curves and turns. Sinuous.
Just like it sounds. It's your elbow.
I would have thought like sinew or some shit. A sinuous song with all the trademark instrumental power typical of the early iteration of Glenn Danzig's namesake band, yet some lyrics in the blues meets metal track from 1990's Danzig 2, Lucifuge, probably wouldn't pass muster today. Oh, he would get canceled. So apparently the problematic line is, "When I go inside your little girl."
Oh, that's... Whoa.
When I go inside your little girl, when I come inside. That seems creepy as fuck. You know any Death Cab for Cutie?
I don't know.
Me neither. We're like, I have not heard any of these songs thus far. I see the next one is Filter, so I will know that. So you reject my advances and desperate pleas. According to band leader Ben Gibbard, I will possess your heart, won't let you let me down so easily. That's a little creepy, but you can interpret that multiple ways. I don't think that one's too bad.
Yeah, not. I mean, I'm aware of Death Cab for Cutie. Honestly, I stopped listening to a lot of like the post-hardcore stuff when it sort of went the screamo way.
Oh yeah, okay. So this song is based as fuck. I don't know what is wrong with the lyrics to this song. So do you know the story behind "Hey Man, Nice Shot"?
Wasn't that? No, I've heard that it was a reference to Bud Dwyer, but
yes,
that may not. Oh, it is. Oh, that's horrible.
Would you like to to tell the people who Bud Dwyer is?
I don't know his backstory. I remember the video, man. Yeah. Like that's enough, isn't it?
So Bud Dwyer was the state treasurer of Pennsylvania. Died by suicide during a live press conference. He shot himself on TV.
Yeah, he had the 6-shooter in a bag, I think.
And that's why I say, "Hey man, nice shot." Oh,
what was
fuck.
it that he was? What was all that about anyway? He was accused of something, or he was?
I think embezzlement, and he said he was set up. He was set up to be a fall guy.
Ah.
But we'll get the actual deets here. Oh shit! Sorry, didn't mean to smack my mic. He was found guilty on 11 counts of conspiracy, mail fraud, perjury, and interstate transportation of aid of racketeering. On January 22nd, he called a news conference of 87. So he was scheduled to go to jail the next day, or prison. Dwyer called a news conference in Pennsylvania state capitol, during which he fatally shot himself with a magnum. Ooh, that's some splatter.
Right.
Dwyer's suicide was broadcast later that day to a wide television audience.
Later that day.
Yeah, I thought it was live.
Right. Someone had to make that decision.
Yeah, why would you show that? So apparently all posthumous appeals made by Dwyer's lawyers on Dwyer's behalf were denied and his convictions were upheld. So I don't know if he was guilty or not, but that's a way to go out.
Wow.
Foster the People. Do you know the song Pumped Up Kicks?
Not the one from the Droop. No, that's a different one. I've heard it, but
So it's a snazzy little pop tune, but it's about a school shooting.
That's ringing a bell, but not a loud one. Yeah.
The track is a psychedelic tinged earworm, but discerning listeners who tuned into the catchy refrain found out that it's portraying a disturbed individual willing to shoot others for their shoes. Foster the People's Mark Foster once explained, "I wrote Pumped Up Kicks when I began to read about the growing trend in teenage mental illness. I wanted to understand the psychology behind it because it was foreign to me. It was terrifying how mental illness among youth had skyrocketed." They all better run when they see my gun. Yep, that's the chorus to it. Ooh, this is a song that I know, but I don't know the meaning behind. Ooh, this is a good one. So Great White's Once Bitten, Twice Shy, which is a jaunty number, isn't it?
Indeed.
So listening back now, one can better understand how the circumstances illustrated in Great White's Once Bitten, Twice Shy probably wouldn't lead to much good for the characters involved. The music beneath the lyrics belie a story. It just sounds like glammy rock. Regardless, Great White didn't develop the tale on their own. It's a cover of a 1975 song written by Ian Hunter. So it's about homeless people taking refuge in the band's tour bus.
Oh, wow.
Huh.
That doesn't seem so problematic, I guess.
Yeah, I'm not getting it. Okay, My Sharona. Everyone knows.
Real quick, fun story about the Once Bitten, Twice Shy. Are you okay? So you may remember the film, 1980s film, Once Bitten.
Nope.
It was like Jim Carrey's very first movie ever. I guess it was like a teen heartthrob movie. Basically, Jim Carrey was like this kid, and he came across the foxy MILF, and she turns out she's a vampire, and the story ensues from there.
Is this a comedy?
It is somewhat of a comedy, yeah, but I think it also falls in the category of like the 80s teen movies.
Does this predate Jim Carrey's like slapstick style? His signature.
It does.
So it's not your normal. He would go on to develop that on like In Living Color, wouldn't he?
Yeah. No, it was definitely before that. I want to say like maybe 88, 89, but don't quote me on that.
Living Color would have been around that time, I think, wouldn't it? Or maybe it would have been into the 90s.
Could have been before even.
I don't know. I've done a lot of drugs. I was a kid then, and I've done a lot of drugs.
That's fair.
The Knack's My Sharona. So it's so catchy, it might as well have been seared into the brains of listeners. From the song's release in 1979, the band's lead singer, Doug Feger, wrote the song's lustful lyrics about the titular Sharona when she was 17. Okay, yep, that's problematic.
Wow.
So the movie was in 1985. Like a what?
Isn't it Winger who did the song She's Only 17?
I think so, yes.
I caught that. So I have a Samsung TV, and it has like all the music channels, and just whenever YouTube pops off, that comes on. I heard that shit one day while I was making lunch, and I was just like, "Oh my god, dude! I remember this song," and no one gave a fuck back then. But like, you listen to it now, and it's like, this is really fucking cringe, bro. Like,
It
you made a
is
whole ass song and
insane.
video?
It is insane how many songs are about like rock stars fucking underage girls. Like the 70s is full of it. Fucking Ted Nugent wrote a song called Jailbait.
Yeah,
But that's on par for Ted Nugent.
but didn't he get punched by Patti Smith too, though?
Yes, I played that on the stream not that long ago. So Spider Pickle, the dude from Cannibal Corpse, isn't he like a really good dude that like gives toys to charity? I don't listen to like metal, that's a little too hard for me. But as I understand it, the Cannibal Corpse dude is like awesome guy that gives a shit ton to charity. If I'm thinking of the same guy. Okay, I'm interested in Nirvana's Drain You. One baby to another says, I'm lucky to have met you. I travel through a tube and end up in your infection. Chew your meat for you, pass it back and forth. Huh. That sounds like some, did Kurt Cobain actually write, A Human Centipede?
Oh shit! I never thought of that. Oh, oh, wow. That is not the old folks home line I was expecting, but yeah, true.
Oh shit! And I mentioned Ted Nugent. Of course, Jailbait comes up.
Wow, it's there.
The police's Every Breath You Take. That I've always thought that was problematic. That seems like a really fucking creepy song.
Curious. I mean, I remember the song, but I don't think I remember the lyrics. What we got here?
Every Breath You Take became a huge international hit, one that everyone assumed was a feel-good song about being deeply in love. It's actually about an obsessive stalker. I think it's a nasty little song, really rather evil. The Selection's songwriter, the Police's bassist vocalist Sting, reportedly told an audience the year it came out. It's about jealousy and surveillance and ownership.
Yeah. Not really one that popped into my head immediately. All I could think was, again, the chorus catchy.
The one that like P. Diddy covered in the 90s.
Yeah. But yeah, no, in retrospect, I don't know if that's quite on the same level as the Winger song, though. Surely that's on the list, right? Jesus.
Maybe. I'm not exactly sure. We've got Brown Sugar by the Rolling Stones. Sexualizes the plight of enslaved Africans in the United States. Yeah. But it is a catchy tune. Brown sugar, just like a black girl should. Fucking Mick Jagger. Their new album's pretty good. I was listening to it before we came on.
Nice. I heard you playing something, but
That was not the Rolling Stones, I don't believe. Okay, Stone Temple Pilots, Sex Type of Thing. I know the song. I don't know what's problematic about it. Sex Type of Thing is a grunge barn burner that could get any rock listener bumping their heads to the beat. Based on the title, tune, and even the bulk of the lyrics, a new fan might think it's a song about, well, consenting sex. I know you want what's on my mind. I know you like what's on my mind. But Scott Weiland explained that the song is about rape.
Oh.
Yep. It also contains the lyrics, I said you shouldn't have worn that dress.
Huh. Wow.
Oh no, don't make me think less about Sublime. Oh, well, I mean, the lyrics to this is obvious. It's about a young girl who goes out and starts hooking, right? So this is Sublime's The Wrong Way, which I actually posted this on social media the other day. Sublime's April fucking I'm bad with dates.
So while you're looking that up, Matter in my chat says, what is this vocal? It's problematic song list. I'm going to say yes and no.
April 29th, 1992, Miami is the name of the song. It's about the Rodney King riots. And that is the best song about history that wasn't written by They Might Be Giants.
I've never listened to a lot of They Might Be Giants. They're kind of a ska band, right?
I don't know how you'd classify them. They're so eclectic. But like
they make me think of like Fish, maybe, or I could just be completely wrong, because I never listened to a lot of Fish either. I know people like it, though.
I'm not a big Fish fan. No, I would not put them. They Might Be Giants in the same category as Fish. Their songs are very. First of all, I just found out not that long ago that Istanbul is a cover. That's like a fucking 1920s swing song. That's their biggest hit. But like all their other songs are about like historical figures. Like James Ensor, like they have songs about presidents and shit. Highly recommend They Might Be Giants. You should check them out.
Fair enough.
But Sublime's The Wrong Way starts with lyrics that are in no way shroud the uncomfortable story about to unfold. Annie's 12 years old, and to more she'll be a whore. Nobody ever told her it's the wrong way. Yes, They Might Be Giants or leftists. Semi-charmed kind of... Oh, you got your winger. Winger did make the list.
That was coming.
Third Eye Blind make it abundantly clear that the lyrics of Semi-Charmed Life, that the song is about taking methamphetamine and the weird situations and unwanted circumstances that can result.
Did not actually know this until a few years ago. Somebody brought it to my attention. Third Eye Blind wasn't anything that I was listening to at the time. Came on and they're like, this song's like so hard, right? I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? And they explained it to me. I'm like, well.
I'm not... Okay, so working in radio for the better part of 10 years between 2000 and 2010, radio hits are really annoying to me. I can't listen to them, right? If it played on the radio anytime between 2000 and 2010, I can't do it. It gives me PTSD.
Right.
So I like deep cuts. I like shit that you don't hear on the radio.
Yeah, when I was working in nightclubs, I worked as a DJ on the way home, because you hear the same top 40 shit every single fucking night until your brain turns into Swiss cheese. And so on the way home, I would listen to, I had picked up a cassette, because this is back when we had cassette players in the car. Picked up a cassette of, I think it was like some sort of Chinese pop music from like the 1990s. And I would just play that. They had a song called Starship that I thought was really neat. And I would just hit all the A-sides and B-sides on that. But I would turn it down really, really low. Because at that point, my ears were just vibrating. Wow, 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 wow. Yeah.
Do you remember the name of the act?
I don't think I could read anything on that cassette except for the name Starship.
Where did you find the cassette?
Chinese restaurant.
Fair enough.
They had a whole barrel of cassettes right out front, and they were only selling them for like $1. I'm like, yo, all right. This cat looks kind of cool. He's got nice hair.
Well, now I've got to wonder, okay, clinically says tape deck generation. Yeah, I grew up on tapes. But CDs were certainly a thing when I started driving. Now, my first vehicle did have a tape deck, but like just a few weeks later, I went and took it and had a system put in, and I had a CD player. So, like, how was that? You had a vehicle that was in the
yeah, it was a '93 Nissan. And,
okay, that makes sense.
I had the aux cord going to the portable CD player and all that, good stuff. Again, it's within the budget,
Fair enough. Yeah, mine was a 2001 Tacoma. Was my first car. It had a tape deck in it, so that was like the year before like CDs became standard.
All right.
Yeah, I had a CD player put into it because like I could not do tapes, and I didn't own that many tapes by that time.
Yeah, so I'm looking a little bit at your chat, and I'm looking a little bit at my chat. Madarissa says this debate is boring. So actually, I did want to kind of bring something up.
Mater can go and fucking watch ER if he wants to. God damn it!
I would want to bring something up to your attention that I think we could have a little bit of a debate on if you're interested.
You want to have a debate?
I'm actually on your side for the most part.
What are we debating?
Something I wanted to bring up to you, and I wanted to discuss this with you a while back. So I remember when you had the conversation with Carter that went the way that it went, right? I was like 100% on your side with most of that, and I wanted to explain partly why. So I think your position was that streaming wasn't a job, and that these are all tools, and that people who utilize these tools when it comes to social media, streaming platforms, and the like are, either utilizing the tools correctly or utilizing the tools incorrectly. Is that a good steel man of your position?
So Carter and I are cool now, right? Like,
yeah. I just remember when all of that came about, I thought, man, I am so on Justin's side, but there's like a couple of little things that I'm curious what you feel about that. So
the thing to me, Carter isn't wanting to put in the work. Carter is wanting to, and I have a real big problem there, and there's like a new YouTube subgenre now of lazy streamers that steal other people's content. Not saying that Carter, I've never seen him steal other people's content, but there's like this lazy streamer kind of thing, like the Sniper Wolf that sits and watches other people's TikToks and shit, and it happened to me with the whole Xander thing, Xander Hall, which he was playing my video, but like I didn't find the Matt Walsh video, and this is getting really off topic, but ultimately what it comes down to is like you can be a content creator, that can be a job, but to say like you don't clock into Twitch, you're not an employee of Twitch, and to make yourself completely dependent on one platform and expect them to pay your bills is just absurd to me.
So and let me make sure I understand this correctly. So I originally had thought that your position was that streaming itself, or content creation, or whatever you want to call it, wasn't the job, but what you're saying is that the platform itself, you mentioned you don't sign into Twitch, and so utilizing just the platform itself and considering that, like, I'm a Twitch streamer, I'm a YouTube streamer, I'm a Twitter space talky guy, that isn't the job, but if you can, of course, make the funds to pay the bills and da-da-da, as a content creator or producer of some sort, that would qualify?
Well, we kind of got off on a tangent. What I really wanted to make people aware of is, you can't depend on Twitch. Just like I found out, I went from making $300 or $400 a month to I make $7 a month if I'm lucky now from streaming, just because I lost Twitch. And Twitch has
still on Twitch at that time, yeah.
And Twitch has and I kind of think I might have got brigaded from some leftists over that bullshit.
Ooh.
But I think they might have wanted to teach me a lesson or something.
I did see you going off a little bit on Twitter there. I say that, of course, and I again, so Madarissa, this is going to be a really worse debate because I actually agree with Justin here. It's
Well, and the same thing happened. So I've got a Facebook page that I follow, and they're all upset because they've got thousands and thousands of followers, and they were making like their rent money from Facebook. All of a sudden, Facebook demonetized them, and it's like you can't count on Facebook, you can't count on Twitch, you can't count on YouTube. I'm trying to get these streamers to understand this. So, especially when it came to the revenue split, right? So I was trying to have that conversation with Carter. So Twitch does a lot for you. It does the so I come from traditional broadcasting, right? So Twitch is doing the job of the traffic department in a TV or radio station. Twitch is doing the job of the marketing department. Twitch is doing the job of a whole bunch of other things, right? So they're hosting you. Hosting costs money. I was trying to get from Carter what that number is. What is the fair price to pay Twitch for all the services that they are providing you? Because you're acting like I'm bringing all 100% of the value, and you're actually not. And like a lot of people don't realize that if Twitch disappears for them, their audience disappears. A lot of people aren't going to follow you to another platform. They're actually a Twitch user, and you just happen to be the content that they're watching at that time.
And there are so many things that I'd seen you mention both on Twitter, and I think I caught at least a good portion of that debate, if not the whole thing. But some of the things that you had mentioned on Twitter, and I'd seen you talk about a little bit later, because I wasn't actually there for that stream. I caught the VOD a little bit afterward, and I'm not sure if I saw it to the end, but I did see a good portion of it. One of the things that first popped into my head, and I think this is, at least we can agree on this for the most part, is that the perception that Twitch, as you said, Twitch in and of itself, as a 100% to depend on Twitch as the platform, I guess is the vehicle for whatever your content creation is completely fucking insane. Because firstly, we're utilizing other forms of social media, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, whatever. But also there are other, and I think that might be one thing that allowed you to see this differently, was because most people that I've found aren't just, they just stream on Twitch. They aren't also streaming on YouTube or wherever. You're utilizing a lot of different platforms, and you're using Twitch as just another tool in the toolbox. Twitch was essentially a hammer for you, the way that I understood it. And to be honest, I'm doing the exact same thing. Obviously not now, but for the most part. And I didn't know that that would be so much of a useful hammer for me because of the way that the system works and whatever. I will say that
Twitch has the best organic growth, especially with the raids and everything.
Right.
The use of emojis, like I set up emojis specifically that people would want to use on other channels so that they would subscribe to my channel. There is a good mechanism there on Twitch.
Right, absolutely. One thing that did grab my attention, though, that you may disagree with, is that in using okay, and so this is when that first conversation happened, my first thought was, it kind of reminds me of myself. I stream on Twitch, I stream on YouTube. At that time, I was only streaming on Twitch or YouTube. Now I stream on both because fuck them. Obviously, I use a website, which has loaded with all kinds of emojis or emotes or whatever, that I also think were cool, but can only be used there. The idea is, and honestly, what happened to you was one reason that made me think this must be a thing. I absolutely must format this website in this fashion. You and I kind of talked about this a little bit before, about the potential of getting you, set up with something like this. Is just what happens if I lose Twitch. If I get kicked off of Twitch, then I'm YouTube only. Then I got dog shit chat, and whoever watches is whoever watches. And people don't show up to YouTube to watch streams. I mean, some of them do. Most of them don't. Most of them show up to watch videos, VODs, whatever. They watch streamer VODs instead of watching the streamer streams. People show up to Twitch to watch, Twitch streamers. It's like the entire culture is focused around that. So Twitch is a very useful tool in that toolbox. Now, you mentioned server costs, though. That is one thing that grabbed my attention, though, and I kind of wanted to know your thoughts on this. So in Twitch, you can only host your VODs for 3 weeks. I don't save my VODs anyway because I back that shit up here.
I want to say it's 2 weeks.
It's easier. Is it 2 weeks? Okay.
But I might be wrong on that. It might be 3 weeks.
Well, see, in YouTube, they store your VODs forever. And obviously the complaint that Twitch has is server cost and all this. And it makes me wonder, okay, so what is the server cost for that versus what YouTube's paying? Obviously, YouTube has the backing of Google, but Twitch also has the backing of Amazon. and that means that Twitch is using. I know there's separate companies, but if Twitch is utilizing Amazon servers and Amazon is regulating that price for Twitch, are they jacking up the price of the server costs for what, tax deductions, or is Twitch just lying about the cost and just trying to?
Twitch doesn't tell you what the cost is. So,
exactly.
So if you and I were to go out and buy hosting, it's about $3 a gig. I actually looked this up. Now, of course, Twitch, being Amazon, because they have their own servers, they're not paying that. But there's still a cost to it, and that's what I was trying to get to Carter with, was like, what is that cost you're willing to pay? Because I kind of think maybe 50-50 kind of seems fair to me. There's a discussion to be made. Should it be 60-40? Should it be 70-30? 70-30 might be good as well. But to negotiate that, you have to have, like, I can't do that. You have to have bigger streamers come in and leverage their audience in order to get that better cost. But the thing that I kept coming back to him with, it was like, well, if you don't like what Twitch is doing, go host yourself. Like, if you don't like the setup, then go set up your own web. Nothing is stopping you from going and setting up your own website, hosting your own video, but you have to do the ad sales. You have to monetize it yourself, blah, blah, blah. And you have to do a product that people are going to be willing to come to your website and watch. I think he was just kind of wanting to be lazy. He just kind of wants to turn on his stream, leverage the fact that he already has all these followers. And as somebody who is like working his ass off to try to develop a following, it's kind of insulting to me. Maybe you could call it jealousy, but it just felt insulting that you just want to be able to turn on your stream. Because like when I was having that argument with him, he was on stream then. He was ignoring his chat, not doing anything, just playing somebody else's video, and arguing with me on Twitter. And that shit's fucking, that sucks. And I don't think he should be rewarded for that. So if you don't like what Twitch is doing to you, go host yourself. But I don't think you'll have content that will take people off the platform. And you're also lazy and you don't want to go do the ad sales and monetize it yourself. I mean, that's my total goal, is like, I keep telling people, I don't really want you to subscribe to me. I don't want you to do the Patreon. Just share my shit out, help me get bigger, and I will monetize it myself, because my plan is, my stream knows this, I am a content creator, but I don't make money off of my own content. I have clients. I have one that has, 3 or 4 million TikTok followers. I have another client on YouTube that has 5-6 million followers. I edit for them. That's where I actually make my money. I make a lot of corporate videos. I do voiceover work and shit. So if once I get big enough, I'm going to sell ads, and I'm only going to do it for people that, for products I believe in, people like my friends that have bands. If they've got a new release, I'll sell them ad space on my show and make the commercials for them, and then charge them for, making the spots that they can use elsewhere. They can put on their Facebook, social media, whatever. And then I'll play their ads, blah, 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 for whatever rate, $100 a month, and you get, 2 spins every week, 3 spins, whatever your ad rate actually ends up being. I don't feel like other streamers want to put in that kind of fucking work to do that. Because, like, Carter already has a following. Go monetize it, dude, if you don't like what Twitch is paying you.
Well, you mentioned laziness, and I definitely think that is something that I can agree with. I don't know a whole lot about Carter, but just from what I've seen from some Twitch streamers in general, I mean, so one of the weirdest things that I've had people say, and this is kind of pigeonholing or whatever. So I've had folks ask me, why is it that you have like a streaming website, my guy? You're such a small baby streamer. And I've asked other folks, how come you don't have a streaming website, my guy? You got a decent following, you could be having even more income coming from Twitch. And like you mentioned, I guess a lot of those people, I just mentioned Carter because I know that was around the time just that, Wasn't trying to trigger
And
you or
everyone
anything.
know I'm totally
Just
cool
know
with
that
Carter.
era, yeah.
He and I have buried the beef.
I just know around that era that conversation came up, and I was like, oh man, I so wanna join this discourse, because like I have so many thoughts and opinions about this. Like my thing is, I actually agree with you and him on that. That yeah, I mean, Twitch could probably afford to pay streamers more than just a 30%, no, a 50% cut, versus what they were previously. Wasn't it 70% before I got in this racket?
Here's another thing about Twitch that I don't know this to be a fact because they don't publish their numbers. I think like you and I cost Twitch money.
Probably.
I think the smaller streamers
Yeah.
cost Twitch money. And I think
Right.
they're making it off of the bigger streamers.
Right.
But
The
I don't
ad
know
revenue
that
that
because
they're-
I don't know how it adds up because they won't post their numbers.
The ad revenue that they're bringing in, shows that as well. With what we're making, if it actually is a 50% split, then they're making dick whenever I stream. I very much agree with you. My thought is on that though. If the problem is, and this is what I don't get, if the problem is and it wasn't just you, it was a lot of other streamers that I was talking to at that time. Some I don't even associate with anymore because they're cringe. And I'm
Apparently, there's been a lot of fighting going on Twitch since I left.
This was before. I've had this stuff in my mind because I was thinking about it. And I've discussed this a little bit with some folks that I do still associate with. If the problem is the split, why not necessarily go off platform, but like my website, right? So like I have subscriptions, and subscriptions, like I'm pretty sure everybody knows how like the website streaming thing works. You make the subscription, but like I get that money. You
Yeah.
subscribe to my website, I get that money. It goes to me. It goes to paying for the website. And also car insurance. But that's all you do. That's what you do. It's simple. Like it's so easy. Like what
That's what I
I
was
get that, like,
talking
yes,
about being
in a-
lazy.
Right, in a fantasy world, we would love to have things that worked out for us. We would all love the socialist revolution to come and give me better teeth. It
Me
would be
too, brother.
wonderful.
Me too.
We got to get these wisdom teeth out some way or another. And if the tankies want to come and support me, monetarily or otherwise, with dental care, this would be good. I would love that. But in the meantime, I still do have to pay my rent. I still do have to pay my bills, and I don't see why every single person who's been on this fucking platform or that platform that we are not on right now, for years, for fucking years. Okay, we're on YouTube. We can talk about whoever we want to. Destiny, Vosh, Demon Mama, Xander Hall, who I know you're a huge fan of. All these people, Riverboat Jack, who we're all big fans of.
I love Riverboat Jack. Jack
She's
and I.
fucking so cool.
Yes.
She's fucking so cool. Like all these people have fucking websites though, and it all. I have no idea why. I mean, I know in some of their cases why it came to be, but the point is they have this as a monetary option. Shout out to Sage Alexis, by the way. They all have this as a monetary option to displace basically the abuse that YouTube and Twitch would otherwise do to them as per their content whenever they get monetary contributions from their viewers.
Well, now,
So why does everybody not do this? It's fucking simple. My brain is so smooth, my skull is so fucking soft, and I was able to program a fucking website and a chat and a
WordPress is pretty easy. Like, go find you a YouTube video to do a walkthrough on how to set up your WordPress.
way easier than NeoCities.
But here's an aspect that I didn't even cover that is the worst aspect of Twitch and YouTube. So if you are on Twitch and YouTube to make money, TikTok as well, you're going to be encouraged to chase trends. You're going to be encouraged to not talk about controversial issues. So talking about Hamas and Israel will get you demonetized, but beefing with another streamer will not. That'll get you pushed.
Right.
So if you are on Twitch and YouTube to make money, your content is going to suffer because of it, because you're not going to be able to deep dive into controversial topics. You're beholden to your advertisers or to the YouTube algorithm, because like, let me tell you, every troll patrol I do is like monetarily restricted, whatever the fuck they call it. Every single one is the yellow restricted. Like, because I'm covering topics that they don't want to play ads on. So I feel that it's made content generic, and I hate that. And it's made content more about, being adversarial with another person and getting into arguments and internet beefs and everything, as opposed to actually delving into topics and doing something constructive. So that's another reason that I'm really against these people that are like, well, we'll make money on Twitch. I won't make money on Twitch, because Twitch ain't going to pay you to have, constructive thoughts on capitalism. Twitch is going to want you to... I love poly people to death. I really do. But she discovered, fucking beefing...
There's some topics I don't even talk about on my stream.
beefing with other people. And it's not that I don't like to have fights. Everybody knows I love calls that want to come in and be contentious with me. But that it rewards you for doing that shit, as opposed to actually having a concise and erudite opinion on a political topic. And that's another thing that I'm against.
No, absolutely. I mean, just well, I don't know about your chat because I'm not reading your chat, but look at my chat. We're going over freak show content and da, and it's hey, fight with Justin. Okay, we'll fight with Justin. So now and now
your chats want you to fight with me.
Well, just Mata Ursa. I have a baby chat. Okay, so I need some of you freaks at the Troll Patrol to come on over to chainsawccc.com and smash the subs on YouTube and smash the follows on Twitch. And we grow this baby chat. We give it some soup, maybe.
Drop that link in the chat, motherfucker.
Oh, I guess so. Well, I'm not even watching your stream. I'm watching mine.
Did you say Madarissa? Is that the name of your chatter? I love you, Madarissa. You are awesome.
Yeah. I'll say she came from you, I'm pretty sure.
Really? You're talking about Mater.
Yeah. Well, all you guys call her Mater. I pronounce that shit in Latin because I'm fancy.
I've just been saying that I'm Appalachian. I always just assume like tomato.
So the first time Ozark Mystic actually jumped on my chat.
JustinFREAKIN indeed.
That was one of the things. She came on and we got to talking about elections and electoralism. And
also, apparently, I've been misgendering you. I apologize.
Your favorite bear is over here helping out smaller streamers, she says. But yeah, so the first time Ozark Mystic came on my stream and we were talking about electoralism, I had to basically moderate between the two of them arguing in chat. So that was a lot of fun. It's typically best to ignore the other person's chat as a guest, but your chat seems to like me pretty good. So that's except for that Warlord feller.
Warlord is a big fan. Warlord likes chaos.
That's true. That I can agree with.
Warlord is out here trying to cause a fuckus with everything. That's what I think. Like, people don't realize. Okay, Warlord is my main mod, but Warlord comes like Trump 2024, Matt Gaetz 2024. And like, I don't know that some people realize that Warlord is trolling.
I was gonna make the comment that I think Warlord is afraid of my website chat, but you mentioned that now, and I'm like, maybe this is a good thing.
Them damn Brits.
Then again, we could get some more likes if I put in the Trump emotes, maybe. I tried to put in, so I don't know if I told you this earlier, if you were watching my stream earlier on.
I was in and out. You were having problems the first time I came by.
Oh, it was so bad. It was so bad. Well, you jinxed me with the whole, do we need to do a tech setup? I'm like, nah, I'm professional. I got this.
That's this motherfucker, what, about 8:15, something like that? It's like, do we need to, because like I just got my grocery delivery. I was like, I'm going to put up groceries here. And after I finish putting up groceries, I'll hop on with you. We'll do a tech run through. You're like, no, it's cool. So I went on about my business, made some food. Come
Your
back
stream, I can't
and
even handle mine.
do what?
Your stream, I can't even handle mine. What do you mean?
But then I came back and you were seemingly having some problems, and you kept telling people to refresh, and I was getting the welcome screen. I wasn't getting the. Also hit me up, man. I will. I can do some graphics for you and stuff. If you want to do a little trade out, you want to work on my website, and you want who would insult you, Warlord? And you want me to do some video work for you? We could work that out.
Warlord, do not read my chat right now. Wait a minute. So hang on a second. The last time I talked to you about setting you up a website, I'm gonna leak some DMs real quick. I thought it was something more like, oh no, I like to do my own thing. I like to do my own stuff. This is my production, you know.
Oh, I do.
Well, maybe not so much like this. This is my production. Suck. Fuck you. You suck. But more like, you know, I'm proud and shit, and like I do my own thing. Like it's cool.
Well, here's the thing. I've just been lazy because like. I own my website for my production company, but I do not I need to, you know, own JustinFREAKIN. I should do that. I almost purchased that domain when I was setting up my other website, but like I haven't even finished that website. That would make me so much more money if I had that website set up. I'm just kind of lazy about it.
Here's the thing. I mean, you know, we could get you a website set up with like the nice fucking cool chat with all the cool emotes and shit, you know, and you can host that wherever. So if you want to have your Kick stream there, you know, if you're trying to bring all of the crowd to Kick, if you're trying to bring all of the crowd to YouTube on a, you know, certain whatever, like wherever it is that you think that you need to direct your audience to.
I don't give a shit where anybody watches me, and I was paying for Restream, and when I got banned from Twitch, I stopped. But now I really need it back because I need to be on more places than the two that I'm on, especially my Facebook page. I need to be back on the Facebook page.
Oh, you can only do 2 if you don't pay for it?
Yeah.
Oh.
They've changed their price tier. You used to be able to do 10 without paying for it. And they've totally changed that. Warlord, I promise you, I'm going to try to get video games set up. Because I play PS5, so I have to have a capture card. My capture card worked on my PS4, but I've never been able to make it work on my PS5. So one of these days we'll do that. All right, is there anything else you want to ask about on the whole streaming's not a job thing?
Jesus Christ.
Before we get off that topic.
So we went on the rant about why is it that people you know, haven't already gotten a website. I think that is weird. I think that is wild. You know, obviously, and obviously, I'm not including you in that because you're utilizing something different. I think would be cool, but you're utilizing something different that they aren't.
Oh, I agree with you that I need a website.
Well, that's what I mean. Like so many and significantly larger. Fucking like, you know, huge, but like, you know, you got 10K follows. If I jump into your stream and you've got like 100 people, 125 people, 150 people, and you're only on Twitch, and that's it, it's like, do you realize like if you do the wrong thing, you're fucked. If you don't have people like in your Discord like now, like all of them, you are fucked. Because when you go to YouTube, your chat's gonna suck and no one's gonna care. And first of all, they're going to have to care enough to get there. I mean, again, it's difficult enough for me just to get people to go away from Twitch to my website chat because they're so, you know, everybody on YouTube, they come in, they're on YouTube and they're like, oh, cool, he's got a chat that isn't dog shit garbage. Okay, let's go over there. But Twitch is, you know, so similar to the chat that I have on my website. So it's, you know, pulling people away from that is a little bit more difficult. So imagine pulling them away from the entire platform to go somewhere else with a bad chat or whatever. And I just think, why are they all not doing this? Why is this not the norm? How come I came into this knowing full well that there are streamers who have been out there for at least like the last 2 years, 3 years even, who have these kind of things? And fuck you, Warlord. I see you in my chat too. Why are you using it then? I noticed none of y'all use the emotes. We got cool emotes. We got the troll roll just for Justin tonight.
Over on the Kick, they've got some of my emotes from Twitch because I had the coolest fucking emotes.
I haven't actually signed in with an account over there, but I have watched your streams over there a couple of times.
Kick so
is
far has been pretty good. We get some weirdos coming in. Like I had the dude earlier today telling me that my bandana made me look like I'm a guy that gets pegged. I'm like, but the pegging's all right. I'm not into it.
I thought the bandana. What? That seems counter. No, they just that's just projecting.
Men who are insecure in their masculinity and look at others be like, oh, you've got a pink bandana on. Buddy, do you realize how much pussy you'll get if you're man enough to wear a pink bandana? Fuck off.
True. Very true.
These insecure little incel motherfuckers.
Right. In fact, I'm going through a process now where trying to how would you put that? The in gayification of chainsaw, if we can. I don't know what the first step is, but we got it. This is way too mask. It's just it's not working. We got to do something different. I don't know if it's going to be a haircut or maybe I shave. You never know.
You gotta get you a queer eye. We're gonna do queer eye for the chainsaw.
True.
Oh, you know what? Let me give you a little advice.
Yeah.
Here's something that I've been meaning to tell you. You need to add something to the chainsaw.
What?
So if I Google chainsaw, you ain't coming up, motherfucker.
Ah, true.
If I go to YouTube and search chainsaw, you ain't coming up.
That's true. I actually considered potentially changing the because I'm using all the tags.
You need to add something to
it
it to where you're unique.
Well, I considered. So on Twitch and basically everybody else, I have Chainsaw CCC, right? And obviously that stood for Cash Coffee. But I was thinking about that. Like maybe I should just change the YouTube title to that and include that more as far as tags. Perhaps that will whatever.
So back in the 80s, bands used to be really concerned with their name had to fit on a t-shirt. That's why you get, Journey, Foreigner, you get AC/DC. They wanted it to where it's cheap to print on a t-shirt, to where it's really catchy, one word. But now that has backfired. We get into the digital age, and now bands need to have something to where when you Google their name, they're the only thing that comes up, right? So when you Google JustinFREAKIN, it's all me. You don't get anything else. Like a band. Do you remember the band Live in the 1990s? Yeah.
They I don't know if they were a Christian band, but they definitely had some songs.
He converted to Christian later on. Like the first fucking 4 albums are goddamn amazing. Then he had a kid and converted to Christianity, and they've sucked since. But
I just remember that one song,
Lightning crashes.
That's the one.
Yeah, that was their biggest hit, and it's like their worst song, hands down. Well, up until he converted to Christianity. So that's like the worst goddamn band name. Because you type in Live in YouTube, you ain't getting the band, you're getting, fucking Taylor Swift Live or whatever the most played video is. So that's my one thing that, from a marketing standpoint, that I would throw to you about Chainsaw is add something to it.
But
call yourself Chris Chainsaw or something.
Yeah, that's fair.
The shitty name. I wouldn't go with that. And in like 2 weeks you're gonna be Chris Chainsaw. I'll be like, yeah, that sounds good.
So you're saying don't go with chainsaw belts?
No.
Right.
Or call yourself, Husqvarna Chainsaw or something.
Right. I kind of like Chris Chains though. That's pretty good.
I mean, you could do worse than Chris Chainsaw, but. And I told you this story not that long ago. My actual first moniker that I used was back in 5th, 6th grade when we were doing trampoline wrestling was Justin Chainsaw.
Yeah. I do recall you saying that. I think I blushed a little bit at that moment.
I saw that. Well, I didn't steal it from you. I stole it from. Is it Fast Times at Ridgemont High or is it I get those two confused. Or Dazed and Confused. It's whichever one of them had a character named Chainsaw, and that's where I stole it from.
Really? I've only seen both of those one time.
One of them had a character named Chainsaw.
I still haven't seen St. Elmo's Fire, which blows my mind, in fact. Yeah,
I've never seen the movie, but I've listened to that song 1,000 times probably.
Oh, yeah.
I can be a man in motion. If you do not crank that song when it comes on, we cannot be friends.
True. So I don't know how far into this we are, but how do tinkle breaks work on the Friday Night Freak Show?
Do you need to take a tinkle break?
I do need to take a tinkle break. I didn't bring my bottle. So.
I can just go main cam, and you can come back whenever you're ready.
All right, BRB chat. It's.
Oh, I cut him. I cut him off. I love you, brother. I can cover for you though. I bet everybody wants to see Let Chainsaw Be Free. Everybody wants to see Smokey. I'll grab Smokey. I feel like he's been kind of mad at me today. Look at the way he's looking at me right now. So after I got off stream earlier when we were doing the Shut Up Warlord, everybody wants to see the cat. When we were doing the house vote, I got off stream and I grabbed Smokey and laid down on the couch. I'm like, all right, buddy, let's take a nap. He looked like he was just like indignant that I had the nerve to grab him. And he got off and ran off. I was like, well, fine then, buddy. We won't take a nap. I'll take a nap. All right, we have a chainsaw back.
All right. Most violent tinkles.
Well, you know what? Since you're taking a tinkle break, I kind of need to take a tinkle break too. So why don't you entertain everybody?
All right, there we go. I don't have Smokey, so so what's up, everybody? This is your boy Chainsaw. I don't know if Justin can still hear us, but I wanted to share a little bit of a story with chat, your chat, my chat, about how the name Chainsaw came to be. So hopefully Justin's got us on the big speakers, right? This is actually brought to my attention something in Epic Prawn's chat. Prawn just asked me one day, hey, what's up with that name, buddy? And I don't guess I had ever actually mentioned this on stream, like ever, somehow. It evaded me. So the name Chainsaw is, unironically enough, appropriated from a chud. Yes, I know. Can you believe it? The stories about Chainsaw, I hear he's a tool, are totally true. Totally true. The original Chainsaw was a tool. In fact, not only a tool, but no fan of the proletariat. So here goes. I had developed a reputation of going into a specific fast food location. That would be a Taco Bell. If y'all are familiar with Taco Bell, they sell tacos. There are no bells. One of the managers there had kind of hooked me up on the what is it, the menu hacking, right? So I got these really good discounts on really good fucking tacos. It was absolutely wonderful, right? Long story short, I've made a reputation at this one joint that I walked into a bazillion times. A couple of guys, they come in there. It's like Halloween night, like 2019, no, 2018, one of the two. Two drunk guys walk in, two chuds, and they stumble up to the thing. Now keep in mind, 2 weeks before that, I had just had Popeyes with Bill Murray. Now I don't mean Bill Ghostbusting ass Murray. I mean Bill Murray the barber, right? He cuts hair for a living.
Do we know Bill Murray the barber? Is he famous?
No, he cuts hair for a living. I'm sure he does really good at that, though.
Well, Floyd the barber cut hair for a living too, and he's famous.
That is true. But so 2 weeks after that, these two chuds walk in, and they order whatever the fuck it is, right? The most vanilla milkshake ass thing you can order from a place like Taco Bell. And at that time, I met Bill Murray, and they never asked me my name before. And so I told them my name, and that's how I met Bill Murray, because he told him his name too. And I'm like, yo, are you a Ghostbuster, bro? He's like, no, I'm a barber. So anyway, 2 weeks later, I go into Taco Bell. Never had this happen before either. They asked the two chuds their name. And the one guy's like, tell him Chainsaw. It's like, no, shut up. Like, tell him Chainsaw. No, shut up. And he tells him his name is like Keith or some shit. I don't know. Michael. I don't know.
Keith
No
Chainsaw would be a good name.
No offense to anyone named Keith or Michael in the chat. But then the next guy, he orders his vanilla ass, whatever the hell it is, and there's like, what's your name? And he's like, my name's also Keith Michael. It's actually Keith Michaels, probably. And then they go stumble off drunkenly to their seats. Guy sees me, he lights up, 100%. He's like, oh, hey, how you doing? You get your usual? I'm like, yeah. And he's like, can I get your name for your order? I'm like, yeah, it's Chainsaw. He's like, are you serious? I'm like, yeah, fuck those guys. Giggles, right? And goes back. I go to I stand at my table. At that point, I developed it's just a thing where I go and I stand at the bar table. I put one leg up on the seat next to me, and I just kind of stand there doing the well, what is that? Where the guy puts his leg up? It's a meme. It's some kind of
Captain
commercial.
Morgan.
Captain Morgan. There you go. I do the Captain Morgan, and I eat fucking burritos. These fucking discounted like $5 burritos that I pay $1.96 for, right? Because they fucking, you might have missed this part, but I got great discounts because menu hacking, and they already love me at this point at this Taco Bell, right? So the guy comes up and he's like, Jerry or whatever his fucking name was, and he comes up and he gets his shit and stumbles back, and they're like, Jerry's little sister, and the guy walks up there and gets his stuff and stumbles back, and they're like, order for Chainsaw, and the guy stands up and he's like, hey, did you order something else? He starts getting out of his seat, and I'm like, not this time, pal. Walk over there and I grab my burritos, and they're just looking at me like, what the fuck? And the guy behind the counter is dying laughing. People in the kitchen are dying laughing. And I go over there and, Captain Moore, I'll eat my fucking burrito. Just mean mugging these motherfuckers. And keep in mind, this is back in the day, so like I'm wearing a fucking suit, right? I'm dressed like the goddamn sexy lawyer and shit, like if you see my first couple of streams, you've probably seen the suit, I fucking look good and shit. Yeah, like, so I'm like that guy going out there doing that. And it just and then the next day I go in, I'm like, oh, hey, how's it going? They're like, you want your usual chainsaw? And I'm like, oh, fuck, I forgot about that. Yeah. And then ever since then, those fucking people at that particular Taco Bell just called me Chainsaw, and I'm like, holy shit. And then, first time we did a commercial at the company I was working at, I was trying to pull the old Jim Varney shtick, and I was like,
Ernest.
Right. And I'm like, sup, everybody, this is your boy Chainsaw. Yeah, that'll work. And it's the rest is fucking history.
It is amazing that you bring up restaurants not are calling you by Chainsaw, because earlier today, Sparkles, my ex-co-host for this show, actually shared her memory from the pizza place she and I used to go to, where they absolutely refused to call her Sparkles Lavendar. They would say, like, we did tests, like they called me Muffins when I said it was an order for muffins.
Right.
But they wouldn't call her Sparkles for some reason. Like they pointed at her instead of calling out Sparkles. Like the dude just thought like he'd turn gay if he said Sparkles or something.
I mean, it sounds like it would have done him well, I think, at that point. Maybe he's got the same problem I do, except it's on the inside, not the outside,
I tell you what, since you brought up some food, let's do the food story I've got. Are you ready for this?
Let's go.
All right. Apparently this guy asked a woman out on a date, and he did not like what she had to order. Are you ready to watch the clip?
Let's give it a shot.
He said he asked her out on a first date just for drinks. But what she ended up slurping were oysters. Slurping and slurping.
Okay, oysters aren't like incredibly expensive. I've had oysters before. Like they're not the most expensive thing you can buy. So what's your thoughts thus far?
Maybe I went to the wrong place because there's that feedback he was talking about. Maybe I went to the wrong place, but I'm thinking that oysters are kind of pricey, though, right?
Oh, are they?
At least from my experience, you get raw oysters in like a really nice spot. The only time I could ever afford that was in the midst of my Stonk Boy arc. Went down to Galveston, and I think I spent a good probably $200. Just between the raw oysters, the king crab, and all that. So I'd say it's about half, right? Maybe
30 a dozen is what Clinically is saying. Well,
Really?
it's not lobster though. I mean,
I'm thinking I spent like 50, 60 maybe.
for a dozen? Shit.
Yeah, about that.
4 platters totaling 48 oysters.
When the fourth one came out, he was looking at me crazy.
I could do it.
Wasn't the only one. And then after all those oysters at Fontaine's Oyster House in Atlanta,
I'm like, baby, what's next? What I'm about to eat?
she gobbled down a crab cakes and potatoes entree. But at some point, the date deserted.
Say he going to the bathroom and never come back.
Damn.
And she ended up paying the almost $185 bill. Most online commenters were unsympathetic. If you eat 48 oysters in a day, you are a walrus.
I don't know.
Hey.
Some Skittles.
You could eat 48 rice.
Yo, I could do it. Them things are good though.
Oh shit, she only left an $11 tip? Yeah, fuck that.
Yeah, no.
Damn, that's a $50 tip right there.
Right, easily.
You don't just run out on the bill, baby.
Restaurant manager told Rolling Stone eating 48 oysters is pretty impressive, but not unheard of, and described the woman as nice. Many likened the oyster feast to the scene from White Chicks. Nope.
This is problematic for a whole other reason.
Damn, little lady. You sure can't put it away.
So can Oyster Girl. She was dubbed everything from Queen of the Sea to the Oyster Obliterator. When she texted her date, running out on a tab is crazy, he replied, I offered to take you out for drinks and said he'd pay for them. Dating etiquette can get slimy, but since this went viral, the world is her 48 oysters. Ginimos. CNN.
Still slurping?
New York.
Well, why did she film it though?
Did you see her? She looked like she's a TikTok, Instagram influencer. So good on her. I hope she got some follows off of this. She made a little money. Help her pay for that oyster bill.
Very true. I mean, I could do it. I'm just saying. So here's the thing, like
You could do 48. You can put 48 away.
Easily. Those things are fucking good. Here's the thing, I don't get to eat like seafood and that, being down here in the, middle of the woods as far away from fucking the ocean as possible. Again, the only time that I've had the opportunity to have like real fresh seafood.
Oh, it's amazing.
Right? And that's probably why it costs so fucking much, because I was literally like, a few feet away from the beach at a pretty expensive restaurant at the time when we could afford that. But yeah, I think it was like probably a dozen. It was like $50-$60, something like that. But yeah, it definitely left me wanting. Oh my god.
I don't know if you've ever watched Kitchen Nightmares. You could be at a restaurant by the beach and they still be buying frozen shit and bringing it in.
I mean, that's true. This is a pretty nice spot though. I guess it's like historically known. There's like streets in town that are named after the same guy that the restaurant's named after and whatever.
Okay, then it was probably fresh then. Yeah.
For sure.
I was in South Carolina one time and had the best octopus. What are they? Calamari. Fucking
Calamari,
shit. Oh my god, that calamari was so good.
Delicious. Immoral, but delicious.
I think I've actually been to that oyster bar she was at. Maybe I don't because I don't remember the name of the place, but it had a rooftop in Atlanta. It had a rooftop dining area. And we had oyster shots, and they were spectacular.
I don't get to get too fancy that often, but when we do, might as well. I mean,
well, you and I ever get together, we're going out somewhere somewhere fancy.
hey, for sure.
Well, see,
on your budget though.
Fine, I will pay for it. So, I cook, right? Like I love to cook. So I don't go to restaurants unless they can make food better than me. And
Right.
So that's only fucking fancy restaurants.
No, I'm down with that.
So if I'm going out to eat, like I'm going to eat good. But from a feminist perspective, what do you think about that?
From a feminist perspective? Oh, what of the guy leaving?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know that. I don't know that would really.
Are you on his side?
I got stuck on the oysters, to be honest.
Made you hungry, didn't it?
I hadn't even considered like the story behind it. You got to give me a second here. Wait a minute. All right.
I think he's totally he's within his rights to walk out. I think.
I mean, yeah, that's kind of wild, you know. She's just there doing content and running up the budget.
We don't know that she's doing content, but she kind of looked like she an Instagram influencer and shit.
Well, somebody, you know, I kind of feel like that's probably part and parcel to it. I mean, who does that though? If you're just on a date with somebody and you're bringing up the bill like that, yeah, I don't know. That's a bit much. I don't know that necessarily stepping out. I mean, the guy did though, so what can you do? You know, that's
And she was filming herself. That's another thing that makes me think she's an influencer. That's why we have the video. So and that's another thing. If you go on a date and you're filming yourself for content while you're on the date, that's kind of rude, in my opinion.
Well, it's just kind of weird in general. It makes me think that the whole thing was just planned out. Again,
that's another thing. Chainsaw, yes. I'm so good about like everything you see on the internet's fake and staged. I didn't even come to that conclusion.
You know, you mentioned to me. So what do you think of that from a feminist perspective? So as I mentioned previously, I used the phrase, and I said this earlier in Greycraft's chat, and I think I think it really kind of flew a breaker for him, which I'm really happy to do. I mentioned earlier that I'm a liberal feminist plus. Like I ground my feminism in the ideals of liberal feminism, and I think that we can do better. I think that we can take certain elements from the original concepts of radical feminism, as far as more radical change outside of just electoralism, putting that in more of the social sphere. But I'm not a radical feminist. I actually am very much anti-radical feminist. So yeah, I don't know that those two things would apply there. It's just I consider feminism to just be something that should be the default notion in progressive politics.
I've never really even thought about the term. I've just always woman empowerment is what I would consider feminism.
Right, and that would be more like liberal feminism. That should be the default. Yeah. I'm always leery of people who actually call themselves feminists, even though I call myself that because I came from an online community before that very much was just the right's stereotypical mindset of what a feminist is.
A feminazi, as Rush Limbaugh would say.
That's what the other liberal feminists I've been speaking with lately referred to them as also, yeah. I don't actually use that phrase, but I love that other people do, and I don't give a shit. But I don't use it. I think it's funny when other people do, because it shows me that other people are able to do some critical thinking when it comes to things like feminism and its various.
Well, clearly, I'm using I'm using the term colloquially because, like, fucking, for Rush Limbaugh to assert feminazi, he's actually like, it's a militant feminism, and that doesn't fucking exist, does it?
Right. Yeah.
It does? Is there a segment of the population that's like militant feminist?
You mean the idea that we should abort male babies?
Oh, what, like, that you would want to force a certain the concept is so absurd that it's hard to even define, that you would want to legislate or to use the force of government to impose a feminism on other people.
Right, essentially smashing the patriarchy and replacing it with a matriarchy. As opposed to egalitarianism?
I think a matriarchy could exist without it being militant.
perhaps I'm not certain on your definition of militant.
Militant would be, you know, forcing people by decree, law, at the barrel of a gun.
I think so. Well, I think
we got back into politics, God damn it!
I think that would be a pipe dream for some folks who might agree with that. But I think that what we can talk about in absolute terms right now is, say, a social movement that is aligned with those kinds of concepts. And if you're asking me, does that exist? Yes.
How about we do this? If there is anyone out there that is a militant feminist, here's what I prescribe for you. I think you need a titty slap.
We'll see you in picture in picture.
A titty slap.
What the? What? Yeah, you heard that right. What the hell? Come on now.
Give me those titties, huh?
Very important sponsor.
We'll see you in picture in picture.
A titty slap.
What the? What? Yeah, you heard that right. What the hell? Come on now.
Sorry, that's like my new favorite clip on the internet ever. A
I
titty
heard it
slap, huh?
I heard it when you had the media wench on here, but I didn't actually see it. That's my first time actually seeing.
Okay, so the video gets even better if you want to watch the whole thing.
Very important sponsor.
We'll see you in picture in picture.
A titty slap.
What the? What? Yeah, you heard that right. What the hell? Come on now. Oh! Well, for your loaded event, special night, as we said, next Tuesday night, Title Tuesday, don't miss it. And now...
So that frame right there,
For your loaded event, special night, as we said.
this has totally become a meme.
Next Tuesday night, Title Tuesday, don't miss it. And now, she's soaking in her audience. She was ready for a close-up. And she got it. And now a hip attack. Tony Storm.
A lot of ass. A lot of ass in this video.
2 and 3.
Sorry, that is AEW's Tony Storm.
True. I Jesus Christ. I guess to answer your question more broadly, there is a social movement toward that I guess militant, not so much government intervention. I think that would be a pipe dream of those folks, but there is a social movement toward a more I guess you could say militant or whatever. Radical feminism obviously being the basis of it, and then there are much more extremes that diverge from that.
Militant feminism is handing out titty slaps.
True. I think that's the Cure, actually.
The band? Friday I'm in Love with Chainsaw here on the Friday Night Freak Show. Oh shit, I'm sorry. Robert Smith. He's a god among men. Oh fuck. Do you want me to throw some bullshit at you?
What you got?
Do you believe in mermaids?
Like IRL?
Bizarre mermaid-like creature washes ashore in Papua New Guinea and it apparently has experts baffled.
Ooh.
So this is the pictures of the supposed mermaid-type creature. You can see the fins there. It's a mermaid globster, is what they're calling it. Warlord's like, is it breedable?
Right.
God damn, I've got the weirdest chat. Are those titties?
See, Warlord's thinking, is it breedable? I'm thinking, is it edible? I'm gonna say the answer to both of those is probably no.
Chainsaw really wants some seafood tonight. You know what? I've
Arguably, that's me and Warlord.
I've got popcorn shrimp and I've got chicken in the fridge. I didn't know what I was going to make tonight. Since it's seafood, I'm going to make shrimp tonight. Get off the stream. I'm making popcorn shrimp.
Don't forget the cocktail sauce.
I love cocktail sauce. See,
I'm actually not a fan.
Really?
Yeah,
So-
anything with tomatoes, I'm like, well, gives me the willies. I'm
What?
literally afraid of the inside of tomatoes.
Chainsaw.
Yeah, no, it's catsophobia is a real thing.
Like you really?
I
Like
prefer not the inside of tomatoes. Yeah.
I'm stunned by this. I want to tell you a little story. So, when I was growing up, I was really picky about eating food, right? Like, even though I watch all the cooking shows and shit, and I have since I was a young child, I didn't like onions. I didn't like tomatoes. I called them foreign objects. I didn't like foreign objects in my food. When I was in college, I decided I'm going to start ordering things the way they come, and I'm going to eat them. You know, broaden my horizons. Dude, fucking tomato on a burger is insane. Oh, I can't believe I have missed out on this tomato on a chicken sandwich. Holy mother, Chainsaw, I can't tell you how good it is.
I've tried that myself. That's one of the things that I still am like, oh, that particular food item. Yeah. Like, I used to not do the onions, the lettuce, you know. Now I'm like, oh my god, romaine is like life changing. I just eat that shit out of a bag.
Mm-hmm.
Onions, obviously, you know, fried, sautéed, done some type of nice way. But yeah, tomato, just something about it, you know. Sun-dried tomatoes. Now, we can't do sun-dried tomatoes so long as they don't reconstitute in whatever it is you're cooking.
Okay, so it's the sliminess
and the sweetness. I trick myself into thinking that it's capsicum or something, you know, and it seems to work out. Like on a pizza.
Wait. So, like, you don't get pizza sauce on a pizza?
Not typically, no. It's not my favorite.
Do you like get white sauce on a pizza?
Either white sauce or I'll sometimes, you know, you can order them with no sauce at certain places if they don't have the option. Like Little Caesars actually is very, very, very edible with no sauce at all, because then you can taste the different sweetness that's in the crust that you wouldn't have otherwise noticed is there.
Wow. What about? Okay, you mentioned Taco Bell earlier. Do you do taco sauce?
I haven't tried it yet, but I've heard it's okay. Yeah, I've never tried it. I've never tried the Mexican pizza that's been there, left, come back, people freak out. Haven't tried it yet. Sloppy Joes are not for me, no.
My mind is blown. So spaghetti is a no-go for you.
I actually also do not like the noodle type of spaghetti. I would prefer fettuccine. Yeah, it's you know, spaghetti noodle. It's so round and just I don't know. It's a wild one. Yeah,
Interesting.
Autism affects people differently.
You on the spectrum, sir. You've got that texture, shape thing going on. Sure. I don't understand it, but I can't hold it against you.
It says not on stream anyway. No, but that is always something that the.
Do I have the sexual anarchy drop here? I do not. I have Mass Shooting USA loaded up.
Oh no. Yeah, but there's just something about the shape, the texture of the spaghetti. I don't know. It's always been a thing. And
you live in sexual anarchy.
No audio on my end. That was
everybody else heard it though.
Fair enough. Oh, see, now I'm learning more about how the ins and outs of your stream go.
Well, once again, I'm limited technically because of the board.
Right. See, I don't actually use a mixed board. And I guess that's shocking. Because most
really.
streamers do. Yeah.
You don't have to have one. I mean, like, if you're just using like a microphone hooked up to USB.
No, this is an XLR.
Then what do you have? You have to have some kind of interface to plug it into your computer.
It's so the XLR. I have a what is it? The XLR to what boomers like us used to refer to as an 1/8" jack, is the actual cable that I'm using, and that plugs into the back of the.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense too.
The kids call it the 3.5 or the 2.5 now.
Yeah. I feel you. You're using the input in the back of the computer.
Well, this is also, well, when we were on a budget recording music, this is the kind of same way we would do that. Plug in one microphone or one instrument at a time and do track by track.
Fair enough. We are not in the same place. I think we're across the country from each other. Battle Opossum. All right, before we get out of here, we're gonna have to do a couple clips here. It's spooky season. We got to do spooky story, right?
All about it.
All right. So apparently, some Halloween decorations have upset some people in this town in Utah, I believe it is. Hold on. I forgot what clip number it was. Okay, number 1. Running a tight ship over here, Chainsaw.
Right. Hey, Sid.
The talk of the town.
Have you guys seen the street sign skeleton thing around town?
Inside the Outpost restaurant, locals are buzzing about a certain Halloween display and the way it's blown up on social media.
We're gonna go tip them when we leave. We know what it's like to work for tips.
I know. It all started days ago when Christopher Fugitian put up the skeleton pole.
All right, what's your thoughts on the decorations?
I love it. As a door dasher, I've actually come across a couple of houses where they had the skeletons, mauled by the push mowers, the manual push mowers. So I kind of dig it.
I love it. This is creative to me. I can't believe they're wanting to take it down.
And as a feminist, I also appreciate the entrepreneurial.
Well, hey, right wingers love to talk about like gender studies degrees and shit. Very few people in a college are getting a gender studies degree. Like it's such a niche. Like they're probably only teaching one class, a semester for the degree. Like it's so niche. But I did know a woman who got a gender studies degree. She works for Planned Parenthood now. She's like a regional director for him. But she worked at a strip club. That's how I met her. I was DJing at the strip club, and she was one of the strippers. Totally cool. Like, if you are stripping and it's empowering to you, and you like sex, you like being naked, and you want to make money off of dumbass dudes, fucking go for it. I'm totally about that. Now there are women that were there that I felt were probably they felt like they had no other option. And like, oh, I got to strip to make some money, and they would rather not be there. I don't like that they have to do that, and they feel they need to do that. But if you're all about it, if you're an exhibitionist, and you want to make money and it's empowering to you, then fucking, I love strippers, and we support sex work around here. Give them the tips.
So not to get too political on you, but there is an entire branch of a subsect, and I guess it's a subcategory of rad femmes that are referred to as SWERFs. So that's sex worker exclusive radical feminists, who very much are kind of have a lot in line with the tradcons when it comes to sex work in general.
So they believe all sex work is exploitation.
It's exploitation. It's immoral. It's whatever. The idea that they aren't in the position. It's dehumanizing. It's depower. It's they lose their it's disenfranchising and all that. And I'm like,
it can be.
Hey, paying rent seems like it's a good way to and if you're utilizing the resources that you have, sometimes in some cases, what choice do you have?
Well, see, I don't like if it is your choice to do that. That is cool. That to me, that's awesome. If you like, I like to get fucked on camera because there are people that have that kink, and you want to monetize that, and you feel empowered by it. Or there are plenty of women, like a lot of people don't realize this, but a lot of strippers are lesbians, and they really don't like men, and it's empowering to them to take money from men. And if you like that, fucking, I'm so cool with that. So like you have to take it on a case by case basis, because there is a lot of exploitation in sex work.
Well, the problem with that category of again, we're getting back on feminism here. I should have never mentioned that at all. But the major problem that kind of keeps coming up. Here's the thing, though. The major problem that keeps coming up within that branch of feminism is essentialization. We're essentializing people based on their activities, based on their social interactions within society. Gender essentialism is a huge one, and it all comes back to a lack of nuance, which is I think that more gears my beliefs on intersectionality is the nuance. But yeah.
Well, I try to bring nuance to all topics, except cops. Fuck cops. ACAB. All right. Back to this awesome story of the stripper skeletons.
It all started days ago when Christopher Fugitian put up the skeleton pole dancer on the city sign. He says the only backlash he received was caught on camera a neighbor who kept coming over to cut it down.
Maybe a little risque for some people, but it's all in the name of fun.
Then the city posted the display to its Facebook page, telling him he had until 9 p.m. that night to remove it since it's against city.
Boo.
There's a lot of good humor that we need to a small town.
The post took off. So while this skeleton was serving ones, others were serving their opinions in the comments section, writing things like, I guess teaching our children respect, decency, and manners has gone by the side.
Whoa. How about teaching children to take a fucking joke? You prude. Is this a violation of decency, Chainsaw?
No. Living in a red state, I'm actually not surprised by this type of rhetoric.
It's not just a red state. There's Karens everywhere.
I mean, that's true, but people are just so afraid of their own dicks. It's unbelievable.
Dude, I had a woman call other people Karen the other day, and her name was Karen. It was the weirdest. She was talking about liberal Karens, and her name was Karen, and I laughed my ass off.
Was she correct, though?
No, she was being a Karen.
Oh.
Your kids understand what that is. Maybe the problem's
probably about wokeness or some shit.
Maybe it's something else.
Fugitian moved the skeletons off city property, and that night made the display even bigger, adding lights.
Girls.
Neighbors are even dropping off their own decorations to add to it.
We look forward to keeping this going and getting it a little bit more elaborate as we go.
Now that's kicking authority in the balls, and I'm all for it.
Do love it, a little soft humor. I mean, like you say, people just can't seem to take a joke. That's unbelievable.
I love it. I'm a fan of that display. I'm always a fan of creative Halloween displays. Rock on. I'm glad they're sticking it to the city. Creating chaos, which is one of the C's. Hey, okay. If you were to assign me 3 C's, which would it be?
3 C's? Like words that start with C?
Yeah. If I was a triple C, what would I be?
Oh, Jesus Christ. God, all the words that start with C I could think of are fucking insults at this point. Why'd you put me on the spot?
It's cats, cannabis, and cooking was the correct answer, motherfucker.
Those are the ones.
What were you gonna call me, a cunt?
Immediately you said that, and I'm like, I don't know, crotchety, cranky, crabby. I don't fucking know. I'm still thinking about crabs, my dude. King crab.
Oh shit! Well, I'm thinking about shrimp. What?
Crab with the claw cracker. That's the ones.
You just call me a cracker?
True. We're not on Twitch anymore. We can do that.
Oh my god, man! The fucking when that whole thing went down, Sparkles didn't know about it. We were doing a freak show, and she kept saying cracker. I'm like, no, don't call me cracker. No. I had to pause her mic. I was like, no. I had to like explain it to her, like with the mics off, why she couldn't say cracker.
Jesus. So I just found out there are certain words that you can't say on. I guess they have different TOS on Facebook. I've been recently because I've been dipping my toes in the waters of Facebook streaming, right? And so some of the folks that I've come across have told me some of the weirdest stories about how they'd gotten like a 24-hour ban or like a week ban or some shit.
I'm the king of Facebook bans. I can tell you how to get around them.
Somebody walked into a chat and said hi or some shit, just hi, and got like a 24-hour ban for that shit. And I'm like, what are the TOS on Facebook?
No, they did something else, man.
How bad is that? Well, a couple of them were like, oh, I've done that before, and then got a, whatever. I think it was like hi with like a couple of eyes.
Buddy, I'm still on here fucking calling people dumb fucks and dipshits, but you have to be, so you can't say it specifically. Like, you can't be like, you're a dipshit. You have to be like, well, that's a total dipshit. Like, you have to not be targeted. Don't tag them and be like, what a fucking dipshit. And you can get away with it. I haven't been banned in a long time.
Do you think this is the dumbest fucking thing I've ever read all day? Or
yeah, there you go. That's a very good. I've thought about teaching people how to get around TOS. TikTok, I have no clue. I keep getting strikes on TikTok. Like you basically can't anything with a gun. Like I had a video of a woman going into a police station. And, like, she starts shooting off the gun, and she lights up a cigarette. It was the coolest fucking thing. But because it's like glorifying gun violence, so TikTok took me down. They took down my story about the teacher who got fired for having an OnlyFans, but they actually put that one back up. So I'm glad. By the way, her OnlyFans is on sale for $14 right now.
I can't even think of his last name, but that superintendent has no dick. Kyle something.
The one that fired the OnlyFans teacher?
Uh-huh.
She's doing the like, that's the best thing that could have ever happened to her. She probably made like a fucking $100,000 in the last month, so.
Oh, for sure. Hopefully.
Well, she was already making like $4 or $5 a month.
Nice. Well, most of the being in Missouri, and obviously, I'm sure you're familiar with Jess Piper. So a lot of the.
Oh, I love Jess. She's fantastic.
So a lot of the libs and Democrats that like orbit her, I guess myself included to a point, that because I'm affiliated with some of the same people that she's affiliated with, and then obviously JoJo is running, or not running, but she's operating Randy McCallion's social media projects and whatnot. So school choice and school issues, and especially things that are affecting teachers, is like something that it's a topic that's always brought to the forefront. And so that story, when I first saw it, man, that I didn't know that it was going to go, viral like that. And, I saw people tweeting it out, so I tweeted it out. And the next thing you know, I'm seeing it in like national headline news, and I'm like, what the fucking holy shit, We always make the news for the most embarrassing fucking dog shit.
She even changed her name to her real name, and I noticed that the other day because like it was like Brooklyn Love XXX or whatever her like name was before, but since that story has broke, she's changed it to her real name, and I don't blame her one bit, so people can find her.
Right, bring it in,
So I don't know if you saw this one. We actually did a story about a. He was a teacher, and he is a stand-up comedian, and he was making TikToks where he was like, whenever my kids piss me off, I lie to them. I tell them Abraham Lincoln invented the car it's named after him. Like he was like, it was fucking hilarious, and they fired him. Couldn't believe that shit, but I hope it works out well for him as well. He's not going as viral as her though, because sex sells.
Oh, for sure. I mean, that goes hand in hand with the skeleton dancers, right? People just lacking a sense of humor.
Exactly.
And I'm sure their reasoning is, of course, as always, is protecting the kids.
Well, he apparently said like he would fart near them, It was something he put on TikTok. So like when they like called him into the office to ask him about it, he's like, "How often do you pass gas around the kids?" It's a joke.
How often do they deserve it?
Oh goddamn. Yeah, that they when I was in college, they forcefully committed me to a mental hospital, and I didn't realize what was going on, and the woman from the state that's sitting there with me was like asking me all these questions, and I'm like being I'm a stand-up comedian. I was fucking like heckling her back. So she asked me like, "Have you ever had any visions or seen blah blah blah?" And I'm like, "It's been a while since I've tripped on some acid." Oh goddamn!
Oh, wow.
To clarify, they forcefully committed me because they couldn't punish me any other way. I was a complete fucking dick to the school, but I didn't technically violate any rules. So my psychology professor 100% believed that was just to punish me. And there's no other way they could do it.
Jesus.
I yelled at the professor.
Wait, you said that happened in college? God, what did you live in fucking Louisiana? Like how
in Tennessee?
How? Oh my God. How, my dude?
Well, let's say there were like I was a troublemaker. There was one of my friends actually wouldn't attend class with me for a while. Like I pissed him off so fucking bad. So I had to go to the dean of students and have this, roundtable discussion, and the whole time's like, "I love you, Richard. Why are you mad at me?" And he's just like fuming.
Oh my God.
I don't play well with others. We're good now. We're good now.
I mean, I guess it only takes what, like 3 signatures. You got to have 3 people who fucking hate you just enough to sign the paperwork.
I yelled at a professor. I told I was getting ready to graduate, and I told him, if this goddamn fucking school ever asked me for any fucking money, they can fucking shove their letter up their goddamn blah 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 blah. And that was the straw that broke the camel's back. And
that's the other thing. You're paying for this.
I have a degree in radio, television, film production. I am not allowed in the broadcasting department of my college.
You paid to go to school here to be an entertainer.
Way too fucking much, too. I paid way too fucking... And student loans started back. Fuck you. I ain't paying that shit.
Imagine the mindset. They're like, "Oh yeah, this guy, he's not funny. Trazodone up the ass." What?
Oh, they put me on so okay, everybody in the mental hospital was really weirded out because I was the only person they have. If you've never been, they have like color-coded bands. Like if you're on suicide watch, you have like a black band. If you're detoxing, you have a red. I don't remember what the actual colors were, but there's like the whole rainbow for whatever you're going through. I didn't have any bands on my arm, and everybody's like, "Why are you in here if you don't have any bands on your arms?" So I actually ended up hooking up with a girl in the mental hospital.
There you go.
And then like a year later, I found her and her boyfriend and her posted on Craigslist that they wanted somebody to come and have a threesome with them. Just got to see her again. I've led such a wild life.
Okay. That's pretty good.
I was getting ready to wrap it up there, and I was gonna go make some. Got off on a tangent there. Chainsaw, my man, thank you for joining us. Run it down. Tell everyone where they can find you, what you be doing over there on Cash, Coffee, and Chaos.
All right. Well, I appreciate you having me, buddy. What's up, everybody? This is your boy Chainsaw. You can find me at chainsawccc.com.
You're now Keith Chainsaw. Keith Chainsaw.
Chris Chains. I'm gonna get the guitar out.
That was Chris Gaines, motherfucker.
No.
And he was awesome.
That's a different guy.
I'm a Garth fan.
I'm gonna put, that maybe that's the haircut I get. He did have a pretty shaggy thing going on there. It was still a little bit the length, but it was just enough, And that little,
That's what she said.
That little 5 o'clock shadow thing he had going, maybe we work it out.
You live in sexual anarchy.
Anyway, I'm sorry to interrupt you. Keith Chainsaw.
Keith Chainsaw. ChainsawCCC.com is where I'm live streaming. I stream on Twitch. I stream on YouTube. I stream on Facebook sometimes, but it's not as much fun. I'm on Twitter at Chainsaw. I'm Chainsaw CCC everywhere you find me, but mostly on the website. Get on the website. Subscribe on the website. Get a cool chat name highlight for the chat by subscribing on the website and jump to the Discord.
Damn right. I encourage you. Do it. Now, militant feminism tells you that you need to go subscribe to Chainsaw CCC, and if you don't, you get a titty slap.
True.
Picture.
A titty slap.
What? Yeah, you heard that right. What the hell? Come on now.
Give me those titties, huh? Chainsaw, it has been a blast, my man.
Appreciate you having me. This is a long time coming. I mean, I actually just went over my last, my 1 year stream anniversary on Twitch, like officially doing it was like maybe a week, 2 weeks ago.
Oh shit, well, happy anniversary.
When I started thinking, that means that I've been watching your show for over a year,
Oh, well, hell yeah. Well, I've only been doing, so the Troll Patrol, I started dry runs in like 2017. But the show, its actual debut date was 4/20 on 2020.
I think I saw the VOD of just before you moved to Twitch. I don't know if you broadcasted on your stream or if it was a link that you had sent somewhere.
It started off as a Facebook show. Mm-hmm. And that's why the original Troll Patrol looks like Facebook. Like if you go back and look at the old setup, it looked like Facebook because it was like an overlay, and the concept was that I would be live trolling people, that I would be trolling them on Facebook, and then I kept getting banned on Facebook, so I just started reading the news. That's how that got started.
So see, we all sort of fell into this a little bit, starting with one mission and then ultimately arriving to the People's Rebellion against, capitalism.
Well, anytime you have a product like that, like you're not gonna find your groove. Like you gotta get in there and you gotta kind of like find what works and what doesn't. And like now I've got a format like that we go by, and it wasn't always like that, right? Like I didn't know what I was doing at first.
I still have no idea what I'm doing. I just I show up whenever I can. Obviously, we got to work to keep the bills on, but keep the lights on, keep the bills paid. But I enjoy it a lot. Showing up and getting an opportunity to look at stories that, as I've mentioned this before, I talk about issues that are important to me and hopefully important to other folks. And if not, maybe they can find some sort of use and utility throughout their daily lives that, they may not have considered. I'll just, God damn, this whole fucking topic this whole stream has been me talking about feminism because it is an important issue to me, right? It is something that I do talk about probably more than most folks are comfortable with. But with that regard,
there needs to be men speaking up for it. Well, like on the one hand, like it feels like it's not your place, especially like topics of race. I don't feel like it's my place. There are people that are more informed on the issue than me. However, white boy kind of needs to take up for some causes because nobody's gonna go out here and find Cornel West to listen to him. Like, you got to hear it from a white guy sometimes.
To be honest, I'm the other guy on that. I think that more people who feel passionate about something should be speaking out more about it. As you say, you would feel like it's maybe not your place, but at the same time, men talking about feminism. I mentioned this to another liberal feminist just the other night that I was speaking with, IRL, right? That one of the things that I despise the most is the male feminist. Now, I might be a guy and I might be a feminist, but I find nothing more disgusting and just absolute cuckery out of the quote unquote male feminist, because typically what that means is it's a guy who is falling in line and following the I guess the
orthodoxy.
Thank you. The orthodox the protocols of radical feminism, and that's something that I think that more people should be more aware of, is that how radical feminism has disseminated itself in the mainstream and usurped and surpassed liberal feminism. When we think of, like you mentioned earlier, feminazis, when we think of feminism, we think of, I don't know, you use the phrase militant feminism. I would probably use it in a way that it might be a little bit differently than you had. Conservatives, their stereotype of what a feminist is what a lot of liberals will consider that type of stereotyping and think of that as a good thing, because they may not know a whole lot about the history of feminism, the various waves, the movements, and how far it's come and how it's transitioned over the years, the original concepts and how those have been, say, not quite as useful as we consider more intersectional means toward other communities, people of color, trans people, queer people in general. The list goes on, right? And
speaking of which, we gotta get you gayed up. We gotta get you queer-eyed.
Very true. But I see that as being a more of a problem. Is that people will take what they perceive as feminism at face value and just run with that. And I see that all the time whenever I see people online, the online feminist brigade, and it's mostly just rad femmes and the dudes who orbit them sucking teat, as opposed to actually considering how intersectionality can play a role because at the end of the day, our goal, at least my goal, is to attract more voters, to get people who are, say, centrist or don't care about these issues or haven't considered how these issues play into their lives, to consider feminism, to consider egalitarianism, and to vote accordingly, for the benefit of humanity. It's fucking utilitarian, my dude.
I'm not actually sure what my purpose is, I like to inform people. I like to keep people up on what's going on. I don't really care how you vote. It's to be bald. That's, that's my purpose. I've said it on stream many times. I would implore you, if you're in Wisconsin, if you're in Pennsylvania, Arizona, Georgia, vote for Joe Biden. But other than that, I really don't give a shit. And I'm not going to lose friends over voting, because the decisions that put Joe Biden in the position to be president happened on the local level 20, 30 fucking years ago. So what's more important is getting involved locally, taking over your local Democratic Party, starting a DSA, blah, 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 whatever. Go get elected to the school board. Go get elected to your city council or your county fucking whatever they call it. Supervisors, whatever the fuck it is. That's more important than who you vote for president. We put way too much emphasis on the vote for president, and that decision was made so, go out and get involved locally, and that work will decide who is going to be president 20 years from now. That's how this shit works.
No, you're 100% correct, and that's okay. So we were talking about other streamers earlier, and that was something.
Fuck them. Fuck other streamers.
True, and here's why. So, and I didn't know that this was a thing. When I first saw your show, I was like, holy shit! I'm talking about the. Okay, so I started canvassing for candidates. Last year, early, I think.
Important work. Thank you to anyone who canvasses, who phone banks, but do it fucking Joe Biden doesn't need you to canvass or phone bank for him. Your fucking local, go to your state rep, and you're whoever is closest, as closely aligned to you as you possibly can get on that's running in the state rep race.
Yeah, get on Ballotpedia, look up your county, find out where your voting district is for a state rep, for a state. I think Nebraska is Nebraska the only one that has a unicameral legislative body, because they're fucking insane.
I believe you're correct on that.
But yeah, find out who, either who is your representative, or who's the candidates running the primaries. If you have no one running, fucking work.
Go run yourself.
Or that, if you live in the district, for sure. But that was one thing. So I started working with candidates. We were, at that time, we were pressing T-shirts, we were pressing buttons, we were printing out lits and giving that to candidates. We actually worked for the candidates themselves that run in my home state, in my district and others, right? So a lot of Missouri Democrats who ran in the 2022 election year after the primaries, and a couple before the primaries, when I was still like starting to meet people and whatever, we made their shit. We made their shirts, their buttons, their stickers, all the fucking freaky gay stickers that they were passing out at Pride Fests and Folks Fests all across the region. Those came from here, these four walls you see around me. And whenever I started streaming, like months fucking later, I think my very first stream that I did that was like this kind of thing was actually with we had 10 candidates. One of them was acted as my co-host after I interviewed her, and then we had the chair of the Missouri Democratic Party Progressive Caucus. So we spoke with like all these fucking people, raised funds for their campaign. That was like literally my first stream fucking ever, right? And then like when I found you, I was like, fuck yeah, this guy, he does politics, he talks about news, da-da-da. And then like I found a bunch of other streamers that also do like political stuff and whatever. And then like several months later, I found out that like not a lot of these people who have been here for like years do this shit. And then they like are maybe just now getting the idea that they could, or that started talking about things like that, like specifically. I mean, I don't know.
Organizing.
Yeah, it's weird to me. It's like, what the fuck was the point then? Like people, get behind a microphone, they put the headset on, they turn a computer on, they turn OBS on, they get ready to stream, they're talking to an audience of fucking hundreds or in some cases thousands of people, and they're like, well, what can I do? I'm just a content creator. I'm like, dude, I got fucking 5 people watching me. What do you mean? And, still even yet, I got JoJo in the chat. She's running, Randy McCallion's social media, so her tweets or Facebook or da-da-da, helping with the campaigns that way. And I'm just like, wow, like what are folks doing here? So that's something that I would urge, other content creators.
Well, hey, you brought up making buttons and T-shirts and shit. I want to throw that out there. I do this for my friends on Facebook, but I should extend this to people that watch me on the stream. So Sky Comet was talking about how she wanted to run for school board. I will help you make your media. I will free of charge, because that's my way of giving back. Anybody who is running for office, I will help. That I agree with. My friends, people in my audience, I will help you make your media.
Not helping MAGA dog catchers on the street.
Yeah, no, fuck them. But anybody that needs, logo design, needs videos made, just fucking film yourself with your phone. I'll edit it together for you and put a fucking snazzy intro, outro. Put music under it if we need that. I'll design your fucking all your what they call style guide, right? How your logos and your text and everything looks. I will help you with all that shit, because that's how. Because people, like, oh, well, what are you doing? Blah blah blah. That's how I fucking get involved, right? Because I am not really into going knocking door to door, but that's my way of giving to the community to help them with the electoral politics.
I love that What Are You Doing is becoming a more serious conversation now online. I of course, shit posting and whatever about, the importance of primaries and the importance of state races and whatnot. I've had a few tankies in my mentions show up and, ask that very question. And I'm like, I am the last fucking person you should be asking this, bro. Like, I literally started streaming because I thought it would be a good way to continue what I'd already been doing And I guess that's why I'm so like disillusioned whenever I come across people who, as you say, let me do my best Justin Freakin impression. Is it jealousy? Well, maybe. But you know what? I'm working my ass off over here. And that's fucking true. That's fucking true, though. I'm coming from that fucking background. Hey, look, the candidates win? No. But you know what? They fucking ran. You know what? We also have fucking state reps that are in office right now who didn't have a primary candidate that just showed up and were like, I want to run for office. And the lady behind the desk was like, okay, sign here, sir. And they were like, all right, what do I do first to start canvassing and then running my campaign? And they're like, no, you fucking won, bro.
And it's sad how the right has taken over the local government.
Right. Just by showing up. That's all it really took, because we're fucking doing so not great.
And you're right. Like I get pissed off at online leftists that, they want to argue about presidential votes. Like, that's not what fucking matters, motherfucker.
Right. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'll bitch and scream and complain about some things also. I don't miss an opportunity to make fun of Cornel West with all the weird shit that's been going on lately. But mostly that's actually more jabs at the people who have been supportive of that. And here's the thing. With a lot of the things that we've been seeing that in the last even few weeks, right? Regarding politics, I always think back to, okay, so I spent months and months and months, more like 2.5 months, streaming the hearings, the anti-trans hearings in Missouri, a few other anti-trans hearings elsewhere. I think that's how probably most of your audience that even knows who I exist already before tonight probably know that I exist at all. Is that they would show up and be like, what the fuck is this guy doing, right? But that's what we were watching, and we watched that shit for fucking hours. And I think to myself, Rabbi Bogart's fucking kid cannot afford for these people to tank this shit because they're, I don't know, fucking worried about whatever the fuck, because they're too busy clout chasing the fucking, tanky likes on Twitter. All, trans people, queer people in general in my fucking red state can't deal with they have too much at stake to let potential votes go to waste, or to for people not to show up. And when people say, my least favorite, I would much rather people show up and vote third party than to express online, which I'm not a fan of, but then to express online, well, I'm just not voting in general, because and then clarify that with, I mean for the presidential race, because that just sets a bad precedent down line. Down ballot, and like you say, we've got county commissioners, we've got state reps, we've got state senators, we've got fucking dog catchers that do not need to be wearing red hats, man. Folks literally cannot afford that.
I know that's a trope, but is there actually a position of dog catcher? There's like animal control, I'm sure, but like
my town has a dog catcher. I don't
really?
Know if it's elected or not. Yeah.
Do you live in fucking Mayberry?
Yes. Surrounded by dozens of other Mayberries. Have you? Okay, so I was thinking about this the other day. Like, have you been to the Ozarks, my dude? Imagine the entirety of Appalachia, right? It's compressed into one little thing, and then they took like 4/5 of the population and took them out. Everybody under the age of 70 who says poke, they removed them.
I was in show choir, and I have performed in Branson.
Okay, yeah.
I've seen the Osmond show. I have a lot of fun in Branson. Yeah, Warlord, I was trying to wrap up 30 minutes ago and we got on a tangent. It's all good. It has been a pleasure, Chainsaw. It's always fun to talk with you.
Hey, thanks for having me, buddy.
One more time, where can everybody find you?
I am Chainsaw CCC everywhere. You can find me mostly at chainsawccc.com, where I live stream. We talk about politics. We talk about sociological issues. We talk about your sister's ass. Come check it out. Streaming Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Your sister's ass.
You live in sexual anarchy?
Go ahead.
Tuesdays, Thursdays, and other times.
Go ahead, light one up, tip one back. It's all right to have a little fun before you hit the sack. I'm Justin Freakin. That's Keith Chainsaw. We'll see you on Sunday night.